Hello folks, my name is Jade Fletcher, as most of you all know. I am here today to talk with you about teaching and learning speaking, which is pretty important considering we are all just talking heads. I'm having some troubles with the lovely Screencast-O-Matic, so I'm going to have to do all of this in one take. I don't know exactly what I'm doing wrong, but bear with me here. So for this project, I looked at current research trends in the field and I analyzed 3 different conferences for this. I looked at TESOL 2016, ACTFL 2016, and AAAL 2017 that was held in beautiful Portland, Oregon. I focused only on the presentation of research and not workshops or other various events. Also, just to give you a heads up, I will be citing the research presentations from the conference programs, not the research articles themselves. So I chose to focus on a few different trends. Some of the topical trends I chose were interactional competence, native speaker focus, and digital tools and speech practices beyond the classroom. And all of these topics kind of had and other topics that I saw kind of had an overarching trend in research design, which I will discuss next. So the trends in research design. For the participants, there were a lot of L2 speakers of English, specifically who were L1 speakers of Spanish, and a lot of L1 speakers of English, L2 speakers of Chinese, and English in the Chinese EFL setting. There's a pattern in research design that includes an overwhelming amount of experimental research that focuses on development over time using assessment and longitudinal studies using conversation analysis, and also a trend in pre- and post-tests being used in research design. So the first topical trend that I'm going to talk about is a focus on the native speaker or striving for native-like speech. So this is something we have discussed in class many times. What exactly constitutes native-like speech, and is this goal attainable or useful to hold as a standard? So some of the research that discussed this I found on the TESOL conference, Accent Communication Tool or Speaker Identity. In this research, basically, the oral native narratives of the participants were compared to native speakers' narratives. And in this study, it provides teachers a closer look at what native-like really means and kind of gives them some guidelines for that. So what does this mean for us? As teachers, it is important to understand that the emphasis on native-like speech and the native speaker standard has not been left behind. Students may strive for this impossible standard and may constantly be made to feel like they need to attain it. As teachers, I think it's important for us to recognize this fact while educating our students and consider the sociolinguistic factors and implications of power involved in this issue. So the next topical trend that I chose to focus on was a focus on interactional competence. So what is interactional competence? That's kind of the issue. Well, according to Crampsch, 1986, interactional competence is a dynamic process of communication built through collaborative effort of the interactional partners. So with the current emphasis in the field on communicative language teaching, you can see why this process is being heavily debated and boiled down to operationalize and cultivate a better understanding of this process. So subtrends in this research are many longitudinal research designs that include conversation analysis, a focus on a variety of settings, but mostly the classroom setting. So what are some questions and conclusions that arise, or that I found to arise in these trends? One question is, what does the development of interactional competence actually look like? Well, one study sought to answer this, and they also asked, how do we separate that from typical developmental changes in language learning? So according to Dallaire, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, this researcher said that she argues for an understanding of L2 interactional development as involving a diversification of people's methods, example, systematic procedures. By the way, this is all being quoted. I did not write this. For action and concomitantly, I don't know that word, an increased ability for context-sensitive conduct, the ability to tailor talk to the local circumstantial details of the ongoing interaction. And to me, this sounds a lot like pragmatic competence as well, like being able to understand in the moment how to interact with the people that you're talking to in an appropriate way. So what are some pedagogical implications from this research? Well, there seems to be a lot of controversy currently, not only on how interactional competence develops, but also how it should be measured. As teachers, this shows us that the contextual nuances influencing this dynamic process are complex, and that there may be no set or right way to ensure our students reach interactional competence. However, one study did find that pedagogical intervention facilitates and cultivates the development of student interactional competence. Another study found that task complexity can enhance accuracy and interaction of speaking performance. So by task complexity, it was talking about tasks that are scaffolded, that have many steps, that are kind of like part of a larger sequence, which is something that we're learning currently in methods as well. All right, and the last topical trend that I found was a focus on digital tools and speech practice beyond the classroom. So I'm just going to go over a few studies that I found regarding this topic. This study explores speaking skills, the development of speaking skills of students outside the classroom, home, social, and work environments. This study found that Arabic learners of English in Qatar increased their speaking ability by becoming immersed in an English community. This one looked at the influence of outside digital practices through computer-mediated speaking activities on learner communication skills and autonomy. And this was a 2-year empirical study on an online speech recognition tool that was designed to help students with class preparation. So this topical trend is one I am choosing to address in my workshop on Tuesday, so I will leave you with this brief overview. But why did I choose this topic? Well, I will tell you. I chose this topic because of the increasing influence of technology in all parts of life for many students outside the classroom. I want to further explore how teachers can use this influence to the student's advantage and use the benefits this may have on learner speech development to supplement the classroom setting. Thank you for listening. I'm very excited to talk more about this with you soon on Tuesday, and I will see you then.